What's good, everybody? It's Mr. Composition and MC that writes fiction. Back at it with another reaction. We actually got the interview with Kendrick Lamar and Timothée Chalamet. And this is in regards to the Super Bowl. You can already see he's in the GNX right there, man. Okay, man. But if you're new to the channel, make sure to leave a like, subscribe, notification bells on so you don't miss when I drop a new video on the road to 10K. Let's go ahead and take a look at it.
All right, my life is in your hands.
Apple
Yeah, I
Music.
told you I got
Yeah,
you.
my life.
You got movies to film.
Yeah, exactly.
Put your seatbelt on. Your seatbelt on?
Yeah, let me get it on. Hold up.
Mine's on, by the way. Don't be fooled.
Oh, it is on. Oh, I didn't see. All right.
Yeah.
So I was like, man, people are gonna be saying I look soft. All right.
How
Got
cool
you.
is that? Like, just random.
Be in the studio. If it's been a while, you might come off with a little bit of writer's block. So we always got this thing about like keeping the pen moving. Or this exercise, going there, doing 16 bars, going home. Always just keep moving. How I feel if it's been a while for you.
Yeah.
Take a minute for you warm up in front of the camera. Take a minute to remember the lines, get into the character. How long does that process?
Yeah, all the above. I try to prep at home, but the thing about acting is if you don't have an audience, it's just a form of insanity. Then you're just, what are you doing? So I'll definitely try to warm up and then lose that self-consciousness when you finally get back out there.
Yeah.
But that takes time. I always try to embrace failure. You were talking about that the other day. That the most important part of a bad day is like the way you leave it. And if you could leave a bad take or a bad day with a positive attitude, then you got nothing to fear.
They already are saying like a bunch of stuff. So it's interesting the rapper who has done acting interviewing the actor, and it's and even their age range, you know what I mean? And even just how long each one of them have been in their field professionally is very, very interesting. This team up is dope. But what Kendrick was saying was dope, especially when it comes to the writer's block. But as far as that, just writing a 16, I think I'm gonna do more of that because for the longest, not necessarily I wrote when it was inspiration, but I would there'll be like certain times I just kind of sit down and write, and then if I'm not feeling it, I kind of just leave it alone. Like, I will write the 16, but I'll be making it a legit song, and I like this idea. And Kendrick's not the first one as far as to say that, but this idea of treating it like it's an exercise, like, just being in the gym. And then what Timothy was saying as far as like losing the self-conscious and embracing the failure, and what he was saying that Kendrick was saying as far as like, how you leave the day. I think it's very, very dope because often you can sit there and have just this wild, jacked up day. And I've heard in different, self-help or spiritual practices that, you going to sleep with a positive, routine or thought process that goes into the next day. This is dope. This is a really dope matchup. Like, I really wish it was longer than like the 30 minutes or so, but this is dope.
I think that's probably one of the biggest misconceptions about me as an artist. Uh, I'm always locked in and I'm always trying new things. Now, whether or not I like them is a whole nother
Right.
conversation, but I have to keep the pen moving. It's not from sanity. And which also has given me the opportunity to learn myself. Find out who I am.
You mean through the styles of expression or the actual lyricism or everything?
I mean, because when we write, man, you gotta sit and go through the emotions and be vulnerable about it. Whether it's a fun song or sad or got some type of depth or not. This is still relatively your personality, pushing through. And so a lot of these records are right, man. stuff I probably would never express or even known about myself if it wasn't for an instrumental behind it. With my projects, it always be that one record I feel like that I want everyone to hear. You know what I'm saying? In order to push the narrative or just the message and the tone that I want to get across. I can have so many other records that have different narratives and tones, you know, like reflection, right? To preserve a space for that one that I want everyone to hear. That's what That's what pushes me, man. That's why I like The Man at the Garden, and even the fact that it's at the top of the record.
Yeah, that's how it felt like to me. You know, also just being a fan of your music forever and knowing like, look at where you're at now, man. Like it's this crazy Super Bowl halftime show, and you just keep climbing, bro. It's like amazing.
Appreciate it, man. I mean that, bro. Yeah. Man in the Garden, I mean every word on that motherfucker, man. That's probably the easiest record to write. You know, and
Man in the Garden was fire.
I figured out who I am in this present moment. You know.
You know, that is interesting. And I think that more so I felt more connected to this as the artist than the fan, just for just the simple things that he was saying. Before we get into that, this video is sponsored by me. Hey, if you want to dive into new music, I have a catalog. Yeah. These are not singles. These are albums. But more recently this year, I did release an album called Tame Chaos. So you can listen, stream, download, purchase, all of that in the link in the description. And just, check it out because I want to see if people are actually seeing this and going to the site. So anyways, I think a lot of times I will kind of suppress those other aspects of myself in music. But when he said that I wouldn't have known that without that instrumental, I think that the beat is so important. I know there's artists that can like write lyrics without a beat. They're just all like, I got these lyrics. Sometimes I'll just like put lines down. But for the most part, that beat is bringing something out of you. Like as the artist, it's like when I hear that beat, I'm just all like, okay, yeah. Like it just the beat does that, So I think for the most part, I would say I've experimented with as far as different types, but for the most part, I think I do stay in a particular lane. But this this interview was dope. I do wish that it was longer. I do wish that it was longer. And let me know what you think that track that he was talking about in each project is in your favorite Kendrick Lamar album. I would say, what's my favorite Kendrick Lamar album? Man, I kind of feel very strongly about Overly Dedicated just for the simple fact that that was the first project I heard from him. And fresh when it dropped, saw it on Two Dope Boys. That project was just so fire. Like, what would be my favorite? Because on that one, that track for me was it was a toss up between Ignorance is Bliss and She Needs Me remix with Merce. That beat, just in general, is just freaking fire flames. Good Kid, Bad Cities, though, like there's certain stuff that are class, Section 8 class, like a lot of them are class, but when I think about my favorite Kendrick Lamar album, Damn is actually pretty up there. And I think because of the experimental aspect of it and maybe where I was at the time, it's pretty up there. But yeah, I would say Overly Dedicated and then Damn and then Section 80, Good Kid, Mad City. And some of these are interchangeable as far as like ranking, but yeah, I would say from Overly Dedicated, that standout track that I think that he was talking about. in that particular project, I think is Ignorance is Bliss. But let me know what y'all's is on y'all's favorite Kendrick Lamar um project. And freaking To Pimp a Butterfly is pretty dope too. I do like those. Anyways, y'all. Let me know what y'all think in the comments. Mr. Composition MC that writes fiction. Back at it with another reaction. Make sure to like, subscribe, notification bells on so you don't miss when I drop a new video on the road to 10K. Make sure to check out the description for my music, books, comics, and more. All right, y'all. Peace.